Every morning, when you look in the mirror, who do you see? You see the person you want to see. You see a kind, moral being trying to fit into the rules of the world and please others. But behind the mirror, where the light of your consciousness cannot reach, someone else is hiding. Someone whose existence terrifies you like death. This is your shadow. This is one of Carl Jung's most terrifying yet most liberating discoveries. The shadow is everything you hate about yourself, everything you consider unacceptable, everything you have locked in the darkest basement of your soul and mind since childhood. Think about it. Why do you get so intensely angry at the flaws of other people? Why does someone else's selfishness, greed, or arrogance irritate you so much? Psychology tells you a terrible truth. What irritates you the most in others is actually your own hidden part. You see your own rejected shadow in them. We put on a persona, a mask that we show to society. We try to be ideal, flawless, because we are afraid that if they see our true face, we will be rejected and abandoned. Therefore, we wage a daily war with ourselves. We turn our soul into a battlefield where there is never a winner. Think about it. Why do you get so intensely angry at the flaws of other people? Why does someone else's selfishness, greed, or arrogance irritate you so much? Psychology tells you a terrible truth. What irritates you the most in others is actually your own hidden part. You see your own rejected shadow in them. We put on a persona, a mask that we show to society. We try to be ideal, flawless, because we are afraid that if they see our true face, we will be rejected and abandoned. Therefore, we wage a daily war with ourselves. We turn our soul into a battlefield where there is never a winner. Imagine a huge, invisible bag that you have been carrying since birth. Every time a parent told you not to cry, it is a shame, you threw your weakness into this bag. When they told you not to get angry, good children do not get angry. You threw your anger and aggression into this bag. When your natural, wild instincts turned out to be unacceptable to society, you buried them there too. And now, years later, this bag has become so heavy that carrying it causes you physical pain. You are exhausted. You have no energy left because 80% of your life force is spent on keeping this bag closed so the shadow does not escape. But do you know what the greatest tragedy is? In this dark basement, along with the garbage and filth, you also threw away your greatest treasure. Yes, it is not only evil that lives in the shadow. There lies your creativity, your passion, your leadership skills, and your wild, untamed energy. When you gave up aggression, you lost your ability to protect yourself. When you gave up pride, you lost your sense of self-worth. People who are too good often become the most unhappy and depressed because they have surrendered their own life force. Carl Jung used to say, "I would rather be whole than good." Let us face reality. Being good does not mean being harmless. A person who is incapable of being dangerous is not moral. They are simply weak. True morality only emerges when you know about your dark side. You know that you can destroy, you can be ruthless, but you consciously choose kindness. A sword that is kept in its sheath deserves much more respect than empty hands. You must dare to descend into the underworld of your psyche. You must face your demons not as enemies, but as abandoned orphans who are simply begging to be noticed. Are you afraid? Of course you are afraid. Facing your own darkness is the most terrifying ritual a human being can go through. Because there you will see your selfishness, your cruelty, your envy, and your potential for betrayal. But if you do not do this darkness will attack you from the outside. Jung warned us, what we do not bring to consciousness appears in our lives as fate. When you run away from the shadow, it controls you. You think you are making a free choice, but in reality, your repressed complexes are leading you towards a catastrophe. It is the shadow that is responsible for those inexplicable, destructive actions we suddenly commit and then say, "That was not me." How do we reclaim these lost parts? How do we become whole? This process in psychology is called shadow integration. It does not mean you should become a bad person. It means you must consciously accept the full spectrum of your human nature. Stop judging yourself. When envy or anger attacks you, do not condemn yourself. Observe this emotion. Ask it, what are you teaching me? What deficit in my life are you pointing to? Your anger is often an indicator of your violated boundaries. It gives you the energy to say no. Imagine a tree. In order for the branches of a tree to reach the heavens, the light, its roots must go deep down into the earth, towards hell. Light does not exist without darkness. Your spiritual growth is impossible if you only focus on the positive, bright sides and deny your depths. The modern world forces us to be artificially positive. Smile. Think only about the good. This is toxic positivity that kills our reality. True spiritual peace comes not from the absence of conflict, but from the harmonization of inner contradictions. I want you to make a decision right now, at this very second. Look back at your past. Remember the moments when you hated yourself the most. Remember the thoughts you were most ashamed to voice. And now, instead of running away from them, tell them, "You are a part of me. I see you. I will no longer lock you in the darkness." This is the highest courage. When you accept your ugliness, no one will ever be able to use it against you again. Your weakness will turn into your greatest weapon. When a person integrates their shadow, something changes in them. Their voice becomes more convincing. Their eyes become deeper and more piercing. They no longer try to please others. They are no longer intimidated by the opinions of others, because they have already walked through their own hell and returned alive. You cannot subjugate such a person. You cannot deceive such a person, because they see the shadows of other people too. They know the price of human nature. They become an authentic, real, whole being. You are not just light. You are a cosmos in which infinite darkness and bright stars exist together. Do not be afraid of this darkness. Feel its power. Allow your inner monster to exist, but you be its master. Remember, the greatest light is ignited exactly where the darkness is most absolute. Stop fighting with yourself. Lay down your weapons. Embrace your shadow, and you will discover a power you never dreamed existed. Think about society's greatest illusion. We are taught that evil is always outside of us, that the enemy is always someone else. But the greatest tragedies in history were not caused by people who acknowledged their own darkness, but by those who blindly believed in their own absolute goodness. Whoever denies the shadow projects it onto the whole world and sees enemies everywhere. Your personal healing is the only way to heal the world. This is the path to freedom, to true, impenetrable freedom. You did not come here to be perfect. You came here to be whole. Let these words be imprinted in your consciousness. When you look in the mirror today, Look not only at who you want to be, but at who you really are, with all your magnificence and all your darkness. So, face it. When you are left alone in the silence and inner anxiety attacks you, do not turn on the television. Do not pick up your phone. Allow this anxiety to speak to you. Listen to your shadow. It will tell you about the pain you buried, the dreams you gave up for others. It will return your true face to you. And when you are able to do this, you will discover that the emptiness that plagued you until now has disappeared forever. You have returned home. From today on, you are no longer a slave to the expectations of others. You are the architect of your soul. You have come to know the darkness, and precisely because of that, you can now choose the light. This is true power. This is your rebirth. Embrace your shadow and become invincible.